Hey, I'm Natalia, and I own Curious Cat Bakery, an all-vegan bakery based out of Florida where I make the best croissants you've ever had that just happen to be vegan. Now forget everything you think you know about owning a bakery because it's nothing like a rom-com. Sure, there are the awesome moments like seeing your stuff in grocery shelves and selling out at markets, but there's also a whole lot of work behind it. And I'm about to show you the real deal of what goes on behind the scenes at a bakery. And the reality is not always so sweet, but that's what oat milk lattes are for, which go well with some fresh pastries, and luckily in my line of work, there's always plenty of those around. We have our own kitchen space. Wait, stop. We need to talk about how we got here. Because before there was this is so exciting. There was a whole lot of... This is insane. Oh my god. This is stressful AF. Please the universe, all the baking gods. I could see the business being here. So let's rewind and go over how this over a year-long process went to find our new kitchen space. And get ready because it was an emotional roller coaster. And we're doing this from inside my car in a Target parking lot. You'll understand why once I'm done with it. So I always thought that when I needed my own place, when I was ready for having my own kitchen, it was gonna be an easy thing. Harsh reality check to realize that it's not like that at all. Why and what is the problem? Like, why are we doing this to begin with? It comes down to about 4 main reasons. The first 3 are just about space. When you're sharing a kitchen, there's only so much space and we don't have enough of it. The fourth one is more important, is financial. Is that a commercial kitchen that you share with others, you're paying by the hour. So that means if you're using more hours because you're getting more orders, you are now paying more rent. It's not a fixed cost, it fluctuates. So on busy seasons, we're paying way more on rent than we should. And that means whenever I'm there with an assistant, I'm not only hiring my assistant for more hours, I'm also paying more rent. So I get just double dipped on that. Not cool. But the decision to get a kitchen of my own was not one that I took lightly, so it took a lot of crunching numbers, a lot of outlining the pros and cons, discussing with other people what the problems were and how I could fix them, and then after reviewing more numbers and more options, figuring out when to make that leap, it was time to start looking for a place for real. In order to have a bakery, you need a hood system, kind of like in your own kitchen, like over the stovetop there's a hood. You need a big version of that. So I started looking and I started to find it's very difficult. I am finding that they are way expensive. Plenty of space for all the tables and all the guests. So the good news about the Salty Pelican is that it's perfect on the inside. It's already up to code. There is already a hood. The bad news is that the price is pretty salty. Twice as much as I wanted to pay. So little out of budget. Another day, another kitchen to be seen. That's like really big. And just got home at 8 p.m. I am so discouraged. We can't find a good place, and the good places cost a fortune. Definitely don't want to commit to a place that I can't afford. And I found a place in Gulfport. Still hurts to talk about this. It's an abandoned bakery, guys. It's perfect. It's just there, like sitting empty. And I was like, this is it. This is for me. I go next door and they're like, oh yeah, like the owners are Canadian, they live up there, they want nothing to do with this place, like they don't want to entertain any selling, any renting, no nothing. That's not good enough of an answer. I put on my FBI hat, found these people in Canada, sent them a letter, and I was like, I would love to talk about this bakery space. We go back and forth, I kid you not, for 6 months. 6 months. Until they finally came down to Florida. And I'm like, okay, let's seal this deal. And they're like, oh yeah, just kidding. We want to sell now. And I'm like, oh, are you kidding me? Okay, fine. Over a weekend, we managed to do whatever we needed to buy this building. I went to the bank. I got set up as a different LLC that was going to be like the property owner. I did everything that we could. We put in the offer. They accept the offer. Oh my goodness. We're actually going to own a bakery. This is insane. It was all moving so fast and it was so exciting, and it just felt like it was meant to be, and it was amazing. Still don't know exactly what happened there, whether they were not trying to sell, whether there was something shady going on, or if there was just like a difference in opinion from the different people in the family that owned this place. I don't know exactly what it was, but basically they walked back the offer and they were like, actually, we don't take this. We want this in cash by next week with no inspection. I'm sorry, what? Like, first of all, I don't have a suitcase full of cash that I can just pay for a building with. And if I did have that suitcase full of cash, I'm definitely not going to buy a building without taking a very good look at this. We did a counter offer. They just ghosted. Like, I went through all stages of grief on that one. Anger lasted the longest. I was just so frustrated that I spent like 9 months talking to these people, and it just led to nowhere. And while I was in talks with these people, I missed out on 2 other properties because I was just like hoping that this would work. That sucked big time. So I then started looking for places that didn't have a hood already built in. Maybe I just have to build my own kitchen. You have no idea. Another failed property. So this property that we just looked at, the contractor was there, who's also the landlord, and he was just kind of walking me through what it would be like to turn this place that used to be a dog training center into a wholesale bakery. The construction. We're not even talking about like getting the actual equipment in there. $50,000. 50,000 American dollars. Started sweating as he was talking. Like, I just started sweating. En route to another location now. Fingers crossed that it's going to be better. Much nicer. I like the space. It's like the floors are nice. The wall, I love that brick wall. You know when you go into a place and you're like, I could see the business being here. It's in a great location, close to downtown. We don't have a hood.
And that was unfortunately the case for a lot of the places that I visited, like this great one that used to belong to Mother Kombucha, and some other not so great ones, but that could have worked, but all of them didn't have a hood, and the price for putting one in just seemed like a lot.
So I'm just sitting outside of one of the potential properties that we're looking at, the latest one of them, waiting for a contractor to meet me to give me a quote on how much it would be to turn this place into a kitchen. At first, I was like, oh, this is gonna cost like $20,000. The more I looked into it, and I had one business owner who was like so cool and transparent with me, and she sat down with me, and she's like, this is what we spend to do ours, and this is what you should be expecting of yours. Hundreds of thousands of dollars. I don't have that just sitting in the bank, just waiting to be spent, which means I would have to get a loan. I am not trying to do that. That is not how I operate. I'm not saying it's wrong. Some people are comfortable taking debt, and that's great for them. I am a person that if I knew that I owed thousands and thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars, I would not be able to sleep at night. So I was just like, that's not a route I can go down. It's not just the cost of like the construction and actually putting the building together. It's the fact that while that's happening, I would be paying rent for this property that I'm not using, while also paying rent for the kitchen that I am using at the same time. They were saying like 3-4 months to get this, you know, the permitting and all that stuff done. But I was told realistically, you're looking at about 9 months at the earliest, because construction always goes long. Like, no, that, you know, was just like a point where I was like, that's it. Like, we are not looking at construction as a possibility. Like, we need to find a place that already has a kitchen built in. Kept on looking. Now let's go over the myriad of issues that we ran through during this search.
This one I actually got showed up. The guy never showed up to show it to me. This one had some shady construction that would not pass inspection. The neighbors had this wonderful cat though, so that would have been great, but it didn't work out. This one required me to take the entire business and yet would not show me their tax records, so I knew if they were up to date on paying their taxes. No thank you. This one cost literally $1 million. No joke.
Oh, and then there was one with the zoning. Doesn't allow for anything with food. So I marched my butt down to City Hall.
And while everyone at City Hall was exceedingly nice, guess what? There's nothing you can do about zoning. And all of this is kind of funny to look at now, but it wasn't funny when it happened.
And then the latest blow that we had was that for a while I was looking for a property with another business owner that works at the kitchen that I currently use. And we were like, maybe if we team up, we can like aim for something with a higher rent because we'll be sharing it. Sharing between two is better than sharing with a dozen people that like we do in the kitchen right now.
It's been a long time since I've cried over the business. She found a place. So she's moving out and getting her own space, and I'm very excited for her. I truly am. But I'm just like, man, when am I gonna find a place, you know?
But that wasn't actually the last blow. I thought I found the perfect property. It was so close to my house. It was perfect in location for the girls to get there. It had already a hood in. I went to look at it.
I'm not one of these pressure guys to say, if you wait, it'll be gone.
Right.
But I've had a lot of calls onto this space.
Oh, I get it.
No, totally.
Really think this might be it. This is no dream property by any means. It needs a good scrubbing. It definitely needs a coat of paint. But other than that, I think it might be good. It's a 1-year lease, which gives us the option of continuing to look for something better. But the price is decent. And I hate that I'm being like, even taking this into consideration, but like when I arrived, there was already somebody there. And then immediately after I left, somebody else came in to see it. And I hate that I'm feeling like the pressure of urgency, but I am. I had at 3 p.m. At 5 p.m., I sent the guy a text and I was like, hey, I'm definitely interested. Can we talk about it like in the morning? Can you send me the lease to look it over?
5 minutes ago, I was literally lying on the floor trying to calm myself down. I went ahead and contacted the landlord for that building and said that I want to go ahead and sign the lease. I am excited. I'm excited, but I'm also terrified.
7 a.m. he was like, yeah, somebody Zelled me the deposit last night. And I'm like, somebody sent you the deposit without reading the lease, like without signing a lease. That is bananas. But that will show you like how competitive it is to find a place with a kitchen already. So now here we are. I'm in the parking lot of a Target because I feel awful. Just seems like this search is never gonna end. I keep looking for properties. This reminds me a lot of when I used to look for a job when I was unemployed, and it was just like you should check the same 2-3 websites and there's nothing. There's just nothing new. Keep going down every avenue. There's so many real estate agents and nobody can find what I'm looking for. I think this is all happening for the plot. It's all for the plot. Any good movie, any good book, the main character goes through some shit before the good stuff starts to happen. This is the time that we're dealing with. We're in that part of the novel where everything kind of sucks. No, when you think about it, it doesn't even suck that bad. We're just uncomfortable. We are not in an ideal situation, but we're still, the business is still going. Everything is, we're meeting our goals. The business is thriving. Like all of these good things are happening. It just so happens that we don't have the kitchen that we were supposed to have by Q1. So anyways, at this point, I just keep saying, this is all for the plot. This is all for the plot. And hopefully there will be a plot twist really, really, really soon. And, something good is gonna come about and we're gonna find our place. We got the lease agreement.
First month, last month, security deposit, application fee.
Well, that was Anthony Clement. First,
we're gonna have our own
Space.